Compare this example with this. Which one looked more relaxed? Which one looked more professional? You can probably see which one looks more natural and right. Today I'm going to show you how to transform your piano playing from this to this. With just one exercise. This one exercise is the start to transform your playing because the skills we learn in our piano lessons are little seeds that you plant. In order to develop, they require constant nurturing, practicing, and implementation into your regular piano repertoire. The issue with this example is that I use my fingers to press the keys. Now, my finger muscles are very tiny, and using only your fingers is a quick path to fatigue, pain, and even injury. When we play like I'm playing here, we use our wrist, forearm, elbow, really the entire arm to play the piano, and our fingers primarily maintain the structure so the joints don't collapse. We're only going to use fingers 2 to 5 today, and this is a simple 4-step exercise. The goal is to see one gesture for every group. In other words, we're learning how to avoid this stiff finger up and down action. With your right hand, start on D with finger 2. Your fingers start by touching the keys, then lift with your wrists first until the fingers leave the keys, then come back down and drop into the D, and repeat. Important things to note here. The wrist leads on the way up. Feel like there's a string tied around your wrist and someone is pulling your hand up with that string. As you lift, your fingers should be completely relaxed. So don't hold them in any position. Just let them dangle. Then before you drop down, pull your knuckles up until you're in your neutral hand position. So you're from here to here. And then drop down into the key. Think of a free fall drop rather than hitting or pushing into the key. And once you've pressed the key down, only use as much pressure as you need to keep that key sounding. And it's really not that much pressure to keep the key down. So if you're pressing down and holding the key like you're mushing a piece of Play-Doh and you feel your forearm tensing, that's too much pressure. You don't need to press into the key. So ease off. And that's step 1. One gesture. Lift and drop. Lift and drop. In step 2, we add a note, but it's still only one gesture. Just like step 1, lift with your wrist and drop into the D. But now, as we lift off the D, lightly play the E on the way up. So drop, lift and play. Drop, lift and play. Drop, lift and play. So rather than having 2 separate gestures down to play the D and the E, it's just one. Drop, lift. Drop, lift. We add a third note in step 3, but again, it's still just one gesture. Before we get to the movement, I want you to place your fingers on the keys. Lower your wrist just slightly and then move to the right and up, like your wrist is drawing a little smiley face shape. So it's down, over, and up. And then back to start. Down, over, up. Down, over, up. And then notice your elbow moves with you. And then come back to your starting position. So it's all one smooth motion. Lift from your wrist, drop into the D. Then draw that smiley face motion with your wrist as you smoothly play the E and the F. And then lift. Smiley face. And you're lifting on the F just like we lifted on the E in step 2. You also use just a little bit of forearm rotation to move through those notes. The top of your wrist is going to pivot just slightly over to the right. So you're rotating. Drop, move to the right, slight rotation, lift. And again, this takes away the 3 down movements and puts it all into one. Down. Finally, let's add the G. So you're going to lift, drop, and move through all those 4 notes. And then you'll lift on the final G. So drop into the D, make the smiley face motion, lift on the G, and then drop. Feel like you're gliding through this gesture. Repeat all 4 steps with your left hand in a mirror image. So you'll start with finger 2 on any weight key, lifting and dropping into just that note. And then you add a note. Add another note. And the final note. And you can also do it hands together. And that's how you begin to go from this to this. Practice this exercise with both hands and hands together. Then look through your music to see how and where you can use this smooth motion to make your piano playing more elegant and legato. If you want more tips and lessons that you can't find on YouTube, check out the Piano Roadmap membership. I've got a follow-along piano course that goes hand in hand with the Faber Adult Method Book 1, the beginnings of the Faber Book 2, Czerny Opus 139 follow-along, the secrets to reading music faster, and many tutorials on specific pieces to come. Check that out, and I'll see you next time.